And yes, just in case you were wondering, I was sticking my tongue out at you guys the whole time. Good evening, good morning, wherever you happen to be. Welcome to the broadcast studios here at Liberty Worship Center, Greenville, Tennessee. This is Truth and Consequences Radio. And wow, it was a beautiful day out today. Not in the 80s, not too hot, a little overcast. The sun wasn't beating down. I've just had a wonderful day, had a day full of blessings, and I hope you have too. Now, I sent this post out, and there was actually someone I was wanting to get involved with this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to message this person right now because last I heard they were on vacation. So I won't mention their name in case it can't be on. But this whole thing about the mask mandate. And, you know, I don't know. You've just got to, if you've got any kind of a thinking mind or a thinking brain, I think I can take this off because we're already live. But, you know, if you got any kind of aptitude towards facts, you're probably going to like what I'm about to say. But if you're just into whatever the man in the TV box on your counter tells you to do, without question, you're not going to like anything I got to say. So you may be happy or you may be upset. That's right, Jeff Cooper. Look, only us old guys like me and you can rock this kind of shades. These new kids, you know, they can't wear these old-fashioned Ray-Ban knockoff Top Gun shades because they're too busy with the poodle perms they got going on. It don't fit with them. They got to wear the sunglasses and make them look like Poindexter or something. But anyway, yes, Arlene, I'm here. I'm here. Here's what I'm wanting to bring up. We got to look at the data. Okay? Now, I will be the first to admit I'm not into the mask thing. But if you are, I don't hate you. But here's the situation. Saw a report just today. Now, it was interesting because, let me see if I can find it. The mask mandate is ending this week, this Friday. Tennessee COVID cases. Okay. I'm going to try to get this where I can pull this up. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful right there. All right, so let me share the screen. I want to bring this up to you. And I got a good computer. What are you talking about? I don't want to share that screen. I want to share that screen. Hold on. I got a MacBook. Ask me if I got a good computer. I got the best computer ever made. All right, here we go. So, Greene County. So, here's my thing. And this is where I want to start the discussion tonight. The mask mandate started roughly here. Okay? Now, the cases have been gradually going up. I don't know if you can see me scrolling that or not, but you can follow the timeline. And then we had the mask mandate. And then it went down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And you see this? It was gradually going up, so they mandated the mask. And now you go everywhere. You know, in the early goings of this thing, you didn't see people hardly with masks on. But now everyone. Matter of fact, and my poor wife, she can't wear a mask. Her doctor has told her, do not put the mask on. She has a physical exemption. But people still shoot you dirty looks. So I decided to start having some fun with it. And my point is, the mask, it didn't do anything. It was it had plateaued up, but of course the case can be made on that they've started testing a lot more people. See, they started testing more people, so of course the cases went up. And then we've all know, and we don't even need to get into this about how many false tests have been reported. Do we need to get into that? Let's see what it is today. Now, this is supposed to be the daily change. So they're saying 2,127 people today have COVID. I don't know if that's the all-time record. Well, it has to be because it dropped. So they didn't take numbers off. Well, they would never take numbers off. So in Greene County, we got, well, that doesn't make any sense. Right over here, it says 500. So today, right now today, there's 504 confirmed cases. We've had a total of 8 deaths, and no one whatsoever has recovered according to this information. So I guess we're waiting to see. Because, they might die of something else, and if they had COVID, good news, we can write that down as a COVID-19 death, right? But here's the thing. I've seen personally with my own eyes, because I am a people watcher, more people wearing masks now than ever. And the case count continues to go up. I'm going to say that again. More people are wearing masks now than ever in my local world that I live in. And the case count continues to go up. I spoke personally with a doctor this last week. To save them any undue harassment, I'm not going to mention names. But it was someone I feel is a very competent doctor. Looked at me dead in the eyes and looked at my wife, because my wife was actually there for her visit, and said, this mask thing is ridiculous. I don't wear one except for places that make me. And as a matter of fact, she said, when you come into my sitting area, take it off. Look, these masks are giving people a false sense of security. You guys, anybody in here old enough to remember the movie Back to the Future? You remember when Biff would come in and pick on Marty McFly, and he would beat on his head and so, hello, McFly. This is what I feel like doing to the world, is saying, hello, wake up. We got people getting into fights at Walmart over wearing a mask or not, and the case numbers keep going up. We've social distanced. We've kept masks on. And look, I've tried it for the last week or so. I said, I ain't wearing one of them goofy doctor masks, because even the people that manufacture those masks will tell you flat out, these masks aren't made to be worn out in public. They're not doing you any good. Okay. So, but taking their advice, they said any kind of cloth face covering. So I did something kind of fun the other day. I got a white one and a black one. And I wear these a lot of times when I'm pressure washing because, well, I'm starting to figure out that it's a good idea to try to keep, high strength bleach out of your face and eyes as much as possible. And I had my little cool, I didn't bring it over with me, American flag bandana. So if you can imagine, this much of my face, my eyes, was all you could see. And I left my shades on, and I walked all through Walmart just like this. Just like this. It was difficult, and I saw your comment, Monica. It was difficult because my sunglasses kept fogging, but I was doing an experiment. I've done it at a few different places. And then some places I've gotten to, and it's been hot, and I've been like, the heck with this. Take this thing off. But here's the thing. 7 months ago, if I'd have walked into a store dressed like that, somebody would have called security. They would have. The police would have been dispatched out to find out what was going on. Why is his face completely covered? But because we have this pandemic going on, this scare tactic going through the world, folks, listen to me. People actually smiled at me like I was doing something good. And I'm walking through the whole place thinking, people, I'm trying to make an example. I was hoping someone from security would at least come follow me around the store for a second. Because once again, one more time for demonstration, and I'm not doing it anymore. Once again, I had this over my entire face. One more time for demonstration. I had another cloth here and sunglasses. And instead of anyone looking at me suspiciously, people were actually smiling at me like I was doing something fantastic for them. Folks, I could have robbed them. I could have stole their babies. I could have shoplifted. I could have done whatever I wanted to. I had total anonymity at that point because no one could recognize me. I could smile right at the security cameras and stick things in my pockets. And unless they caught me in the store, if I was inclined, I didn't do that, by the way, but unless I was inclined to do it, they would have never been able to point me out. So what's my point? We used to have this thing in the trucking industry called CB Rambos. CB Rambos, that was a guy who would always be on the CB radio, and he's going to whip everybody in the truck stop. Sometimes it was a joke. It was funny. But some guys would just go on like they were dead serious. And you know good and well that if they were seeing you face to face, they wasn't going to say half the things they would say on the CB radio. And that's, therefore, is where the term CB Rambo come from. And now we have this encouragement to put on masks and now to wear goggles. You know what's a funny thing? I'm not a doctor. I will be soon, though, by the way. Working on my doctorate degree right now. But not in medical science. So everybody calm down. But I'm not a medical doctor. But I do know enough to know this. Yes, viruses can come in your mouth, your nose, and your eyes. And I've not heard anyone say anything about your ear canals. Did you guys know that all that's connected and that a virus can very easily come in through your ears and infect you? Some of you didn't know that. Some of you are Googling me right now to make sure I'm telling you the truth. Well, I'm telling you the truth. And I'll tell you something. About 2 years ago, I started boiling my ears out with hydrogen peroxide, you know, the brown bottle you get over the counter, about every day. And I don't know. I can't, I don't have any conclusive evidence to give you. But last year, my wife and son both had the flu, and I never got sick. So there's probably something to it. See, it's all connected. But I got an idea. Since they're going to force this mask down our throats, since that's what they're going to do, why don't we all do this? Let's all go buy the exact same mask, the exact same head covering, and the exact same glasses, and start wearing the exact same color t-shirt, and the exact same kind of pants, and the exact same kind of shoes. That way nobody's different or better or less than anyone else. And when the crime rate triples, maybe that'll get some politicians' attention. We're being duped. There is more evidence. Look, I wear this for work and wear it around. You know what else I do with it? I wash it. You know why? Because you keep putting that same filthy mask on, day in and day out, we're going to be preaching your funeral. That's a fact. You keep breathing bacteria into this, whatever it is, and then you continuously allow that bacteria to grow and multiply on this cloth, which it will do very well, and cover your face back and breathe it in, you're going to have other issues to deal with. And that is science. Unlike all this COVID-19, that's science. Brought to you by Google. So, but what's this doing? Well, it's creating a certain kind of anonymity. And it's empowering people in a way that they wouldn't have been before, because, you know, people will do things when they know that their identity is going to be protected. That's why the term catfish come around. You know, people get on social media and pretend to be someone they're not in an effort to spy or catfish, you know, to trick someone into believing that they're something that they're not. And when you create a society where no one's really recognizable from another one, what kind of Pandora's box will you open? And it won't take long at all for criminals to figure this out. As a matter of fact, I find it very surprising that criminals haven't already figured this out, and that crimes already aren't being committed. And because the people were masked, according to the mandates, they couldn't be identified. I find that almost seems like something the media would want to keep from people hearing. It almost sounds like one of those strange, you know, what the media calls truths, facts, that doesn't fit the political agenda they're trying to promote, so they don't report those things. Hello? They don't report those things. They leave that out. I mean, has anyone else thought of the fact that, you know, everybody wearing a mask, be awful hard to identify someone committing a crime? And, you know, and that's true. There are people getting rashes. Hey, brothers, everyone that's come on, John, Arlene, if I haven't said hi to you already, I'm saying hi now. The thing is this whole mandate thing is opening up Pandora's box. And the masks are dangerous, especially if they're not kept clean. And then we go to a story I heard this past week, and this blows my mind. And if you guys want to journey over at some point to Dale Walker's Facebook page, and you can see a video that he cut in front of Cookeville High School. Now, I don't know all the circumstances of the story, but I do know that Pastor Steve Warren was with him, and that there had a young man who was wearing a mask that said faith over fear. He was conforming to the school rules to attend school. Someone, some teacher, some person of authority at the school, and this should make medical professionals cringe, told that kid that he could not wear that and to flip it inside out. And I pray the kid's health's fine, and put it on. Now, does that sound to you? I mean, I want someone who's pro-mask to come on. Because tonight's an open invitation. If you want to come on live stream with me tonight, if you want to agree with me or debate with me, it's an open invitation. All you got to do is throw in a comment and say, I want to be on live. I'll make it happen. But does that really sound like, to anyone, like they were concerned, their number one concern was that kid's safety, or is there something else about it? Is this not more social engineering? I'll read your comments on the right side of my screen. But think about it. If when I was in the military, we had what was called MOP gear, and I'm sure they may call it something else now, but it was the gear that you put on if there was a chemical, biological, or nuclear attack. It was also called NBC gear, which stood for nuclear, biological, chemical, and you had different levels of MOP. MOP 1 was a mask, MOP 2 was a mask, and the suit 3 was a mask, suit, boots. MOP 4 was the whole suit with gloves. Anyway, here's the thing. This is what we were told. In the event that we were exposed and we had our MOP gear on, that we had to go to a decontamination site before we took it off. Why? Because when you pull it off, even if you walk into an area that's all clear, and if you've ever been in the military and been inside a gas chamber, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was just tear gas, which is basically non-lethal, but it's like burning in hell while you're in it. But it's basically non-lethal. Even with that, when we come out, we had to come out with our arms like this and not touch ourselves until we went through a decontamination stage. So if you're walking through a contaminant, whether it be a virus, a bat, whatever it is, whatever agent it is that you believe's attacking you, you never pull your mask off until it's been decontaminated. Never. Why? Because you may be standing in an all clear zone, but when you pull it off, the outside of it is still contaminated. And they took that kid because they didn't like what was written on it, and they told him to flip it inside out. See, folks, when it boils down to it, lives really aren't what they care about. They're trying to socially engineer things. They're trying to remake society. And God wasn't wrong when he shared with me. He shared with me that the mask thing is a sign of submission. Praise be to God. That's what it is. It's a sign of submission. Now, can masks protect you? Yes. Look, folks, if you have underlying health issues, okay, forget COVID-19. You need to be wearing a mask year-round because there's always something you could catch. The flu hasn't been eradicated. And, I want to bring this up too. I just want people to praise God. Just start using your common sense in the world for a minute, if we can. Do we have a vaccine that prevents the flu? No, we don't. Do we have a vaccine against the common cold? No, we don't. So what makes you think this COVID-19 vaccine is going to be all that effective? What we need is what's called the herd immunity. But back to this, the underlying health issues is this. Look, if you've got health issues where you catching the cold or you catching the flu or you catching pneumonia or whatever would cause you to die, it would be rough. It would cause you a trip to the ICU. You don't need to be leaving the house ever at any time, and you shouldn't have been before this, and you don't need to be after this leaving without some protection on, if that's what you're worried about, because you can catch a flu any time of the year. And the flu's more deadly for you people with underlying health issues. It's in the numbers. It's in the data. Jason's just not telling this. Go look it up for yourself. Go Google it yourself. It's in the numbers. The flu's still more deadly. But when they had that young man pull that mask off, whatever had been trapped by that mask is now broke loose, flipped around, and he breathed it in. And if he gets sick, I pray he bankrupts that high school before they get done paying him. because that was ridiculous. And whatever teacher told him that, they need to take their little offended self and never be allowed to teach again, because they don't need to be in charge of kids. Because when a political message is suppressing a political message or a religious message is more important to you than someone's safety, your priorities are not straight. Your priorities are all mixed up. It's all you're and see, that's what this is. This is a political thing. The Democrats want to win this election so bad they will do anything. They have shut down our economy. They have shut down our world. They've took away everything that they can possibly take to try to make us blame Trump. And you know what? We ain't buying it. Anyone with any sense isn't buying this mess. I mean, they don't even have enough protesters to protest. They have to go and run ads that hire people to protest. Yeah, it is crazy. Those are some of the nuttiest times I've ever seen. But you see, even in MOP level 1, that's the first thing you learn. You don't take it off until you've been decontaminated. So if you're putting your little mask on and running through the grocery store, and you're running to Walmart, and you're running here and there, and then you're stopping every now and again to get on Facebook and throw some hate towards the church for having service, what kind of decon site you got at your house? I'm waiting. See, I got a bunch of people, and I appreciate y'all on here that are agreeing with me. I want somebody to share this to someone who won't agree. Because I'm waiting. What kind of decontamination site do you have at your home? Hadn't heard anything about that. And you know something else? While I'm on this rant, and I'm sick of giving this thing time and air and effort, but I want to throw one more thing at you. Something else that the doctor brought up. A doctor, not a made-up doctor that comes on TV, not Dr. Fauci, but a real legitimate healthcare frontline worker. A piece of advice that I've not heard come from the CDC. I've not heard MSNBC, CNN. I've not heard Fox News, and maybe I missed it. Maybe they did, but I've not heard Fauci. I've not heard the attorney, the Surgeon General. I've not heard anyone, not at one point in time, say, hey, folks, start taking some vitamins that'll boost your immune system. Have any of you? Has that been in any of these plans? The schools have sent letters, and God love them. They're doing the best they can. But I've got a plethora of emails about school starting. It's not starting. It's online. It's not online. Sports is postponed. Sports is back on. No one is telling anyone to get themselves some zinc and magnesium and some vitamin C and boost your own immune system. God gave you a system that can fight this virus. To boost it. And do you know something? Just because you've never been exposed to something before does not mean your immune system won't still attack it. That's a fact. You don't have to be exposed to something to be immune to it. What immune means is that your body fights it. It can't make you sick. Folks, you're exposed to all kinds of nastiness every day. Your body fights it. And like anything else, that part of your system needs to be exercised. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and eat dirt, but a little dirt won't hurt. But this sanitizing your hands all the time, you're killing your immune system. Because what your immune system is doing is it's like this. It's not seeing a threat, so it's not activating. But when it sees a threat, it activates. That's a very good point. There's all kinds of alternative theories and alternative ideals, and when we're going so far that we have a medicine that's pennies a dose, pennies, that's been around for years, used, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but it's been used to try to treat malaria, and it's already been tested and FDA approved, and the doctors for years it's been legal to prescribe it. And now doctors are saying, hey, it's helping some people. And when they're going so far as an entire state will shut down and make it illegal to dispense that drug, folks, I don't know how far away we are from it, but we're heading towards the day that if we want our country, we better start buying guns, because we're going to have to go take it back from these idiots that's running it. And I know I'm blowing Romans 13 all to pieces with this, but I'm here to tell you, look, they're not doing right. They're not protecting us. They're not out for us. You know, one of the big things I've made this, and I started on this, I think there's a few things that Americans can do. One, America can stop buying things from China. We can cripple their economy if just Americans alone would boycott China. All right. The next thing that I think we can do is demand term limits for state and federal level politicians. All right. And start speaking the truth and start demanding that somebody else's opinions get shown, and turn off the news. Turn it off. If everybody quits watching it, it'll go away on its own. But at some point, we've got to come to realize, and I just want to be the watchman on the wall here, and I'm ranting and raving about this, because this is deception. This is a ploy of the devil. He's trying to re-engineer our society, and we have power against it in the name of Jesus. We have power against it. We're still here for a reason. And the reason why the church is still here is because God's not done with the mission of the church yet. And when he's done with us, he will pull us away off the earth. But while we're here, we're to be making disciples. We're to be teaching and instructing. And we're to be a light to the world. And part of that is we got to start exposing the idiocracy that is ever expanding in this world right now. And our Miss Arlene brings up something here good. Money is filthy. Yeah, it's filthy. But you've handled money your whole life, folks, and it hadn't killed you. I mean, how many times, parents, have you had to pull a coin out of your kid's mouth? You know, there were little babies crawling around on the nasty floor, stick a coin in their mouth, and you had to dig it out. My mama told me one time I pooped a penny, and that penny didn't kill me. Just leaving it out there. She did. She said one time I pooped a penny. She found it in my diaper. So that goes to tell you, you know, you can survive coming in contact with germs. You can survive it. You can survive coming in contact with things, and you're going to be okay. And all these folks with these health issues, you know, look, here's the truth. Here's the truth. You need to be wearing a mask everywhere you go. Because if COVID-19, if you're at risk of it hurting you, the flu's far more deadly. So don't when this blows over, if it ever does, don't let me see you out. I'm going to start calling you out. You need to put your mask on. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think about this idea of we all buying the same colored stuff and wearing the same mask around. Well, that would scare some people, wouldn't it? A bunch of rednecks all dressed up the same, rocking their cool shades. You can hear the security now at Walmart saying, we're missing some socks. Somebody stole some socks. Get out the cameras. Somebody stole 10 packs of Fruit of the Looms. We got to figure out who got them. But we caught them on film. They all look the same. If we can band together, we can, you know, since they're imposing their will on us now, we might as well start having some fun with it. But anyway, back to more important things. That was my 41 minute and 11 seconds of being silly for tonight, trying to be entertaining, but trying to get some serious points across, which is the theme of this channel. We'll let you know, Brother Jeff Cooper's on watching with us. We still got a few of these wristbands left. You can contact us. It says in his image in the Latin version of that, which is the Imago Dei. Probably butchered that. $5 suggested donation. Still got some left. It's going to a good cause. This organization helps women who have chosen to, instead of having an abortion, but to carry the baby to term. And they help support these ladies, help them get a start in life, help them to buy diapers and baby food and all those necessities. And they are, I believe, that is a very good ministry, and I'm very happy to know the people behind it. And you guys should support them every opportunity you get. And if you've got a local church, I'm sure they'd be glad to come out and share some testimonies. I know that Samantha or Sammy would be all over getting up in front of a bunch of strangers she's never met before and sharing her story. Nothing would tickle her more. So make sure you guys give them a shout out. I'm going to take about a 2-minute break, show you a little commercial, and I'll be right back.
If you hear me!
So I know I sent out the invitation, because I know a lot of you guys have been missing Brother Billy Taylor, Brother Jamie Ingram coming on with me on Mondays, you know, and the only thing I can tell you is those two brothers has gotten lazy is what it is. Quite possibly they might even be backslid. I'm not sure. But I'm going to try to get them on, if at all possible, at least one of the two, and see. That's exactly right. That's the best company in the world to pressure wash, to hire. And I know the owner personally, so he's a good guy. No, that's a good idea. You know, that brings up something. I'm glad Jeff Cooper brought that up, and I'm going to post that one. I've decided to be more selective of the actual comments that I put on screen. But it's not old news. We had an earthquake. And, of course, a lot of people always revert back to the verse of Scripture in Matthew about earthquakes in diverse places and at the end of time. And there was an earthquake. And I'm going to tell you something. I've been through at least 4 earthquakes in this area. One, but the very first one happened in Knoxville, and it woke me up a little bit, but I'd never woke up and realized what was going on until I heard the next day that there was an earthquake. But the other 3, including the one that hit the other morning, I slept right through it. Didn't know. So I don't know if the big one ever comes. I'll probably be asleep. So the one thing I can probably tell you is if I'm up and awake, there probably ain't going to be no bad earthquakes.
Hey,
They ran you outside, son. What's going on with you?
I'm just sitting on my porch, man.
Oh, hey, I'm going to see if I can do this. I'm going to, if he feels like it, I'm going to see if Brother Jeff Cooper, I know he's watching. Jeff, I'm sending you a link if you want to come on screen. If you don't, that's fine too. Because anytime you can get a celebrity on your show, it helps. And I got Brother Ken Hovine coming on. And I've just got to get the time and date straightened out with him. But I spoke to him personally. He called me personally. We spoke for a few minutes. And he's agreed to come and do the show. And if you're not familiar with him, his organization built the Ark up in Berea. And he also is I guess what you would call a creation scientist. And goes around and debates evolutionists and different things and stuff. So it'll be an interesting time. And he's got some interesting information about how the dinosaurs play a part in the Bible and different things. It'll be a lot of fun. And I'm going to start an email campaign if something else doesn't happen. I know people want to hear the rest of the Nimrod discussion with Jason Sullivan. So I'm ready to go whenever he is. So you guys, if you're friends with him, just start flooding his messenger box and say, hey, get this scheduled. Because every date I give him, he's got something going on. But that's okay. Life happens that way sometimes. But how's Brother Billy? How are you doing tonight?
I'm great, man, as always.
All right.
I'm wonderful. Just sitting back, relaxing and chilling and enjoying, listening to the show. And, I'm going to add something to what you said. When I worked in the hospital, they taught you about things to do and not to do.
Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Did they ever tell you to take your mask and take it off and flip it around and put it back on and breathe through it?
They told you better not take it off or ever reuse it again. It's very dangerous, and it traps things in that you suck into your lungs that will destroy your lungs.
Wow. So, what's not going to surprise me if about a year or two from now we start having this epidemic of people with lung conditions?
Yeah. Man, they're just trying to build robots. I was in Walmart. I guess it was the other day. It was like Friday. And, man, it was like watching a bunch of robots walking through there. I mean,
Yeah.
they were looking up in the air. They were looking side to side, like they didn't even know what they were looking for, what they were doing.
And there's no communicate. You don't talk to anyone.
No. No.
Did you well, I know you did without having to ask, but I accidentally got too close to a few people just looking for what I was trying to buy and get out of there. And they do that real quick 2-step sideways shuffle.
Oh, yeah. I thought they was trying to square dance myself, but,
I remember doing that as a kid. We would be picking at somebody saying they had cooties or whatever, but we wasn't serious about it.
Right.
I got a special guest coming on now.
All right.
And you're not going to believe this. Do you remember ZZ Top?
Yeah.
I got Billy Gibbons on right here. You ready? My special guest right here. He is. See? It's the sharp dressed man. Hey,
yeah.
Brothers doing?
All right. You're going to have to trim that beard, though, if you're going to get into line with society. We're all supposed to dress alike now.
Have y'all seen the guys who take the beard and flip them up and put their sunglasses over it?
You should do that. You should do that. That is awesome.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
I heard y'all talking about the Ark.
Yeah. Well, I got that brother Kent Hovine. He called me. I talked to him. He's coming on. We just got to get dates and times. But he told me personally, he said, I would love to come on and do it. And we're going to talk about not just the Ark, but the other things in creation. He's got some interesting facts about how dinosaurs and men walked the earth together. Evidence that he's seen, taken pictures of, and has story. It's just I don't want to give it all away right here. But when he comes on, man, that's going to be a good show. I can't wait.
We got to go up there. I think it was last March, somewhere in there. We had a blast. It was a good time to go, man. I
hadn't been. I want to go.
Walking up to it just to see the size of that thing is just amazing.
Wow. That reminds me, while I got you on the horn here, I got some more money for these bracelets for you guys to come get. So
I say Sam will swing by sometime or another.
All right. Well, I'm the pastor. I tell them you want a bracelet, put $5 in the bag. That's how I suggest a donation.
And you need your sidewalk pressure washed.
Well, I've done it. That was just a kind of a half attempt at a before and after, but I didn't show enough of the after. I had just a little bit of the after and a whole lot of the before.
You can tell he really knows how to advertise, don't you?
I actually let Facebook put that together for me, and then I hated it, so I went back and changed the music and everything. And I'm going to tell you something. If you guys ever have any kind of business and you want to advertise on Facebook, just take whatever money they're going to charge you outside and throw it in the trash can, because that's about what you get out of it.
That's true.
I got a bunch of phone numbers and email addresses from quote-unquote leads they got me that nobody ever answers a call or responds to. So I don't even believe they were real people.
They're the robot callers. They're the ones calling you.
Yeah. They're probably the ones, they're probably like, hey, we try to sell that guy. So, that's the thing. If you ever get on these companies' radar, just put a listing on Google and put your name to it.
Yeah.
And you will start having all kinds of friends call you up at all hours of the day and night to tell you that your Google listing is not correct. But they can help you for $147 a month. They'll make sure that it stays on Google. And here's the thing that gets me every time. They said, we'll make sure you're the number one. I said, you will. I said, well, what are you going to tell the next guy? You're going to make sure he's number two? I said, because if you sell me the number one spot, I know you're not going to turn around and tell the next guy you're selling him the number one spot. And they hung up on me. So that was the end of that. They told me they had my phone ringing off the hook. It does, from their competitors wanting me to sign up with them. But anyway, how's things out in West Pines?
They're quiet.
Quiet and still. You still got those goats?
Yeah, they're here.
I got to tell everybody this. The Cooper's goats, if you ever go by their house, you'll know where you're at, because their goats don't stay in the fence. They stand outside the fence until a car comes by, then they all run and jump over the electric fence that was supposed to be keeping them in, from what I could tell. But anyway.
Maybe they need some more chicken coops.
Right. Well, I put out a few feelers, some chicken coops and some duck. Hey, you know what I did one time? I know this is off the subject, but I had this ideal, right? And you don't never know if an idea is going to work till you try it. But I was down at Tractor Supply, and I was going to get some baby chickens. And they had chickens, and they had geese, and they had ducks. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go back to the farm. We still have Morlock Farm out there. I'm going to build this big pen, and I'm going to have all these different kinds of birds that you can eat together. And I did that. I bought like 2 of every kind of animal, like Noah. Right? Come to find out, do you know if you put chickens and ducks and geese together in the same pen, they'll all die for some reason?
Duh.
They're not meant to be raised up together. But you know, I've never done that again.
I remember Sammy coming getting a bunch of those cat litter buckets I used to keep all the time.
Yeah.
I gave her a big old bunch of them.
When you get Kent Hovine on, you need to ask him about mitochondria DNA.
Okay.
They're talking about how everybody says that the earth is billions of years old. And mitochondria DNA doesn't allow for that.
I've heard him talk about that now that you said that.
You have so many mutations per generation of your mitochondria DNA, and it wouldn't allow for that. Humankind would not be in existence.
Yep.
Do you know that explains a lot? Because if you go through the Bible, you find out up until the flood of Noah, people lived hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Yep. And then after Noah's flood, people slowly, their lifespan kept shortening. And now we're down to the point of, 70 years, 77's supposed to be for men and 80 something for women. So
on average, yeah.
It just shows that through the fall, mankind is getting worse.
Yeah.
You know, I tell you what, Jeff knew him. Jeff knew my papaw. Aiden, when he was 80 years old, could outwork all 3 of us. But I want to tell you this, he didn't have the aches and pains that I have at 47.
And I think, my daddy.
Mm-hmm. I think we're slowly, the air we're breathing, the UV rays, we're deteriorating as a race faster than what people may realize. And that may be what a lot of this nonsense we see in the world is, because you know that thing about the DNA, Jeff, that came out on the news the end of last year. And it was starting to, Fox News and a few others were starting to pick that story up and run it around. And then all of a sudden we have all these other distractions pop up in the world. Right?
Yeah.
Same thing happened, if you guys will remember. There was a big flood that took place in Texas. And it flooded out, it was like a 100-year flood, and it flooded out a big section of the Rio Grande River. and it left a big slab of limestone rock that had been exposed. And on that rock, and this is something that Dr. Hovind has talked about, there were footprints of men and dinosaurs and other beasts, all
Side by
together,
side.
all running in one direction, like they were running away from something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they find them in different parts of the world the same way.
Yep, like there was a flood. And well, I'll give you one more thing. And like I said, he's got a lot to talk about. But do you know? And I can't remember exactly, but that big wave that hit Thailand on Christmas, was it Thailand? You remember about 10 years ago, there was a huge tsunami hit Thailand, like miles inland.
Yeah.
Do you know it carved out a space almost the size of the Grand Canyon over there?
Really?
That they say took millions of years for that river to carve out, and it did it in just a few minutes, which goes to prove that a lot of things that we see that they said take millions of years can happen in just a few minutes with a massive flood.
Yeah. So true.
Have you heard that the Chinese, the old Chinese written alphabet describes Noah's flood?
Yeah. Yep. As a matter of fact, I'll throw you one better. Every culture in the world has the story of the flood. Even old cultures that haven't existed, when they dig them up and find them, they wrote about the flood. They have a flood legend. And I'll tell you a good book, something I recommend you read because it'll open you up. It's called The Epic of Gilgamesh. It is the Babylonian flood story. But you got to remember, Nimrod was the king of Babylon. And just, I don't know, I might do a whole episode sometime about the Epic of Gilgamesh, but it'll bring a lot of things into perspective. Now, it's not the same as Noah's flood, but you can see when you read it how someone was trying to twist the original story to fit into their belief system. But
yeah,
it's very interesting. It's very interesting. So, Jeff, the big question, how long did it take you to grow that beard?
This November will be 3 years, I think.
I'd never make it, man. Mine gets too itchy. When it starts getting itchy, I trim it back.
I've probably got grass in it. I've been out weed eating.
You ever find any food in it?
Sometimes.
Yeah, well.
Little birds make their nest in it.
I love this brother. I've known this guy since the second grade.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I can't say there hasn't been a few rocky spots in that time, but we're still friends. So, a lot of firsts. Got into a lot of my first trouble with this man for the first time. Did a lot of first things. But we're gonna leave that right there where it is. This is
But you got to remember, I wasn't always the cause of that first trouble.
No, I will take.
I can believe that.
I will take the hit and say about 95 to 98, maybe 100% of the time, it was my ideal being executed.
He just had the nerve to act it out, didn't he?
Well, Yeah. Sometimes maybe 105% of the time, it was my idea.
You were an overachiever.
Well, I lived hard for the devil. That's why I live hard for God now. That's just how I am. I'm all in. Ain't no halfway. I'm either doing this or I'm not, But I don't. Go ahead.
I don't understand how we made it.
God
we had to have God in behind us.
Yes. It was God. Is why
God's grace.
that is the only explanation.
None of us should be sitting here the way we grew up and was wild or crazy younger.
I remember one time, I don't know if I ever told this ever, but there was one, Jeff and I, our farms, the back of them connected. Well, there was another farm in between, but it wasn't much. So, about 12, 13, 11, 12, right in there, we could sometimes get our parents to let us walk to the other person's house. You remember that?
Yeah.
And there was one time I ran all the way to Jeff's house, not on purpose, but because I was tromping through the woods and I kicked over a rock, and this big old black snake come up.
I knew it had to be a snake.
I really believe, looking back now, it was trying to get away from me, and I was trying to get away from it, and we were running into each other. And finally, I hit another gear that I didn't know I had, and I took off. And I don't even remember crossing. There was like 4 fences you had to cross. I don't even remember crossing them fences. I was rolling, and I didn't look back till I got to the edge. They used to have this big old huge backer field in this valley. When I got to the edge of that backer field, I finally slowed down and looked to see if that snake was still chasing me. Now, here's the bad part. When I saw the snake, I could still see my house I lived in. So and Jeff will know what I'm talking about. I could still see that old green house. And here I was, I the whole way. A mad, dead run.
He probably had a jetpack on to clear them fences. Or he just hurdled on one. He wasn't thinking about nothing.
Yeah.
Adrenaline, brother, adrenaline.
It was adrenaline. And you know, the neighbors had a bull too that had the property in between the two.
Yeah.
And if that one, you remember that bull, if he was out, he would always chase you. But it wasn't far. You know, so you kind of look and see where he was. You could make it across that field before he got to you, but you had to have your timing down. So that was the original Frogger in real life.
Oh.
Oh, man. Anyway, well, it's good to laugh. It's good to have communication with people.
Amen.
We're way too serious now.
I try not to wear them masks either, Morlock.
Well, did you catch the first of my program?
Yeah.
That's how I do it now. And you know, it's just a social experiment for me because I just cannot believe how many thumbs up and congratulations and smiles I get from people, and I look like I'm about to just rob the place. You know, the next step, I think I'm gonna get me some toy pistols and put them on my side like Yosemite Sam, and a big old hat, my mask, and my glasses, and see if they like that too. You know.
Well, you remember when they passed that law a few years ago about the hooded toboggans that people would wear on Halloween that you couldn't wear it anymore because they had to be able to see your face, and now they're contradicting themselves wanting you to cover your face.
Yeah.
If I could find a Darth Vader mask that had the with it,
I'll go with you, brother.
That's what I would wear around, and I would just sound like Darth Vader all the time, everywhere I went.
Well, you do that without a mask, so. I'm kidding, brother.
I got some news, and I've shared with Billy. I did another little small video. The Bible College is happening, and it's happening fast. And I spoke with the Dean of Admissions, and they brought me on as a hang on, I'll give you the technical name.
And he's going to be doing it.
I'll be
assistant to the assistant.
An extension site campus director.
Whoa.
Which is that it doesn't pay anything. But you know, the smaller the salary, I found out in the business world, the longer the title. I actually worked for a company. I'll name them. It was Land Air, and whenever they didn't want to give you a raise, they would give you a title. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
So, and it would be something like, say your job was the floor sweeper. They would bring you in and say, well, you know, we can't really do nothing about money right now, but we're going to give you the title of the floor sweeping engineer, and all the other floor sweepers will now report to you. And then that can possibly lead to a raise somewhere down the road. I mean, they would always make it sound really good. But no, I'm excited because this is fully accredited. And it's very inexpensive. A 2-year degree will cost you less than $1,100. That's one class at Walter State is $1,100. I know. And that was 20 years ago. I took one class, and it was actually $1,500, I think, for that by the time I bought books and everything. So, but I didn't have any. I was just doing it on my own at that time. But I'm excited about that. And folks up at your church, Jeff, are more than welcome to attend. So pass that around if someone was interested. Anybody that ever wanted to go to Bible college, now's your chance. And
can you send me some information?
I sure can. Matter of fact, I am going to right now. Well, when I get off here, yeah, I'll do it right now so I don't forget. You two just talk for a minute.
Hey, Billy.
Just talk for a minute. Hey, how's it going? Now, I want to know who's going to teach him. I want to know who's going to teach him.
I can still hear you guys, so don't.
Oh, that T-shirt? I don't know. They took the picture of it, brother. They took a picture of me holding keys.
Well,
I had a pose like this in a purple shirt, like that.
We ain't hit the subscriber number yet on YouTube before the T-shirt goes out. So I need to give it. I guess I need to find out. Well, I don't know. I might have just lied. Hold on. How many subscribers do I have?
You got 2 now.
Oh, you mean I lost 2?
Kidding.
No, I don't. Well, why won't it tell me? It won't tell me. This is top secret information.
They tell you they have to kill you.
Yeah. I put a link to the school, the main school site on the comments, and then I'll also send it to you in a message. But now you got me off on something else. Let's see how many subscribers I got. I got 43 subscribers to YouTube. So we need 57 before the T-shirt.
I'm going to go create 57 fake accounts and start clicking on them so I get the T-shirt.
I'll tell you what. I'll get Sam on that, and she'll have that by you in an hour.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, I'm all for it. If she get on that, because every time we hit 100, I'm going to draw a name out of the subscribers. I'm going to give away a T-shirt. When we hit 1,000, I'm going to give away something better. But I'm not sure yet what that is. But it'll be better than a T-shirt. Maybe 2 T-shirts. I don't know.
No, he's going to give his wife away and say, take her, get rid of her, get her somewhere. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
She's probably watching. I'll get slapped the next time she sees me.
Hey, so I just noticed the church Facebook page is blocking my comments for some reason when I respond to them. Just more technology.
Probably something you've done.
It's that copyright infringement stuff they keep hitting me with. Look, I'd only played like 10 seconds of the Good, the Bad, the Ugly soundtrack. I'm not making any money on this. leave me alone. You know, it's not like I'm getting rich because I just happen to have Scott Steiner's ring entrance music as my intro. Okay.
That's who I was trying to think of.
Okay. I said it. That's who it is. I liked it. I thought that would be a good intro music. All right. If I start making some money, I'll send Scott some. All right. Leave me alone. I'm not doing anything. I'm just trying to be a free American. That's all I'm trying to be.
You never
Right.
mentioned Rick and Scott Steiner the other night.
Huh?
You never mentioned Rick and Scott Steiner.
I know. Well, see, I felt that old wrestling bug because I could do, and I've thought about it. I could do a separate program just on old school wrestling, but there's a million people doing that. But I was such a super fan. I mean, my goodness, how many people know Ric Flair's real name? Do you guys know his real name? I'm going to put my
I might have it one time.
I'm going to show you what a wrestling fan I used to be. His real name is Richard Fleur.
Fleur, yeah. I knew. I just couldn't tell you.
He took the H out of the name, and that was Dusty Rhodes' idea and made it Flair.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Anyway, see, if I had to draw back, Jeff, because if I was going too far, I was getting into that too much. You know what I'm saying?
He was out there doing it to his kids.
Yeah, especially when I had the Hulk Hogan Real American play, and I knew then I got to draw back and get to the point I'm trying to make here, or we're going to have a wrestling program happening.
I watched you. You were struggling there, man. You'd go into the wrestling real hard, and then you try to get back on point. And then you go into the restroom real hard. I'm like, stay with your point, Morlock. Come on.
I'm just glad I wasn't splitting screen with him that night because
Hey, all right, I'm going to tell y'all. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. Billy Taylor used to wrestle for Smoky Mountain Wrestling. For Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette, the tennis rack and wielding foul mouth atheist. You know, we all love watching him get beat up. And he hates it when I tell people about that. See his face? Do you know?
I'm just glad I wore a mask. That's all.
This is just the three of us. Do you know who Billy Taylor's tag team partner was at one time? Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was 78 years old. and he thought Billy was baby doll, but you know, it got Billy some ring time.
No. The blowed out knees was enough.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding. That may or may not be true.
That I wasn't thinking. He helped train me. He helped train me.
Yeah. I got into that for a little bit, but I was trying to straighten my life up, and I kind of picked up real quick that wasn't the world that I needed to be in at that point in time in my life.
Wise choice, brother. Because I'm telling you, I made up my mind that's not the area that I need to stay in very long. Because I was running from preaching already.
Right. Oh, yeah. And Billy. Man, where's the time gone?
Oh, you been there 19 minutes already?
Well, it's been an hour and 19 minutes. I'm talking about the years of our lives. I feel like sometimes remember that old soap opera? They used to come on. It used to start off, it would say, like sands of an hourglass. So
days of your life.
Yeah. I might steal that next and see if I can get in even more Facebook trouble. If you ever get a copyright infringement, they send you this nasty email.
Yes, they do.
And it's like, but they say now, this is a very serious matter. So we want you to try not to do it anymore. You know, it's kind of like, Well, remember Mr. French?
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
No, we had a teacher named Mr. French.
Oh no.
You remember how he would
Don
try
French.
to yell at you, but at the same time he was trying to be cool? He'd be like, "Now look, boy, I understand what it's like to be your age, but
Did you ever see him?
I haven't seen him since school." No.
Really? He had a cab company.
Yes, he did. That's why that's who I thought you were talking about.
Don French.
Yep.
Oh, he was awesome. But if it was his day to monitor the hall or whatever, he'd be like, "All right, boys, look, I understand you're rambunctious young men and everything." He would remind me, you remember there was a teacher, and I'm thinking it was on Beavis and Butthead or one of those things. There was a teacher that always tried to be real calm on there. You know who I'm talking about? He always tried to be real calm and cool and get on the kids' level and be real soothing. That was Mr. French. He was always real soothing when he talked. Be like, I know you guys are excited about going outside, but you got to really cool it in here. You can't. And he's always using words like, you got to cool it in here. You got to just be chill going down the hall. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I might be remembering.
No, that's the way he was.
Yeah.
And then he would come up and we'd be talking about, rat or poison or whatever group was big. And he'd be like, "Hey, you guys ever checked out the cars?"
The car.
Hey, the cars.
The car.
When I
Yeah,
was going to concerts and stuff, I seen Don there.
I guarantee. I think we saw him at one.
Yeah, we
Motley
did.
Crue. He was at the Motley Crue concert.
What are we talking about
he
on
was.
here?
Huh?
What are we talking about on here?
Just what the Lord delivered us from, brother. Just what the Lord delivered us from. Thank God.
I'm trying to, look, we can all be saved and still be humans and enjoy each other. You can be so spiritually, or no, how do you put it? You can be so heavenly minded, you're no earthly good if you're not careful. But I hadn't thought about that in years. And I was just talking about that concert the other day to somebody. Because if you remember,
He
and I
broke his
forgot
leg, didn't he?
that Mr. French was there, because there was almost a riot that night. Because you remember they blew the fuse out, it went dark, and then when they got the everything going, Johnson City made them shut it down.
Yeah.
Because of the noise ordinance. And that was I don't remember, Mick Mars or Nikki, one of them threw a tantrum on stage. Vince Neil.
She may not want you to be seen on TV.
Yeah, Vince Neil threw that guitar through the amp or whatever. It was cool. Anyway.
Jason's probably one blew the fuse. He's probably one rigged it up.
Oh,
He's trying to do electrical work, maybe.
man, Sammy Cooper's on it. She's done give me the whole copyright section here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but I've done read too much now. But yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing. It's coming to a point and place on all this. We're going to have to create our own type of social media to communicate with each other, because we're just about this far from them shutting everything down that ever references the Bible, Jesus, God, Christianity, anything. They're going to start shutting. They're going to start, and we've encountered that. Billy, we've been live streaming the service since 2013.
Yeah.
Really?
And I know for a fact there's been a few times Facebook tried to monkey with us. Billy's seen it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, our stream, just for no reason, go down, or an entire video disappear for a little while. You go investigating it or email them, and then it pop back up. Just weird stuff. Just things that didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Or say they put you in Facebook jail because preaching the truth, and they said that as they sent me, you preaching too much about hell. That was
Too much hate.
You're
Yeah.
offending your hate speech. Yeah, that's what they said. It was hate speech.
Well, hell is all I can say. It's real,
It is very real.
you know.
There'll be wailing and gnashing of teeth.
Yep.
But the thing is, I was preaching about missing the place, and they got me for that. 2 weeks before that, when I was preaching about going there, they didn't do nothing.
And the thing about that too is there's not one person in hell right now that doesn't wish they could hear this message one more time.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're actually when you tell people about hell, you're actually showing them the greatest love you can show them, to tell them
Amen.
the truth. And my son asked, we had a conversation, and I'll tell you what, that youngest kid of mine, he can ask some riveting questions sometimes. And he said, well, Dad, how did he put it exactly? He was like, why, if people make their own choices, why bother? Why tell them about this? I said, well, let me ask you this, son. If you couldn't see it, but you were about to walk off the end of the bridge, do you want me to let you walk off or stop you? He said, well, I want you to stop me. I said, why? Why would I stop you? He said, because you love me. I said, that's exactly right. I don't want people to go to hell. So
Amen.
no matter how mad and aggravated they get or whatever else, they're little sensitive flowers die in their garden or whatever.
Yeah.
If you want to show, if you're going to live this life the way and be disciples. See, I think that's a big point the church misses in a lot of aspects. Church is busy trying to make converts. God didn't tell us to make, Christ didn't leave instructions for us to make converts. He said us to make disciples. And if we're going to make disciples, we need to instill in those disciples the urgency to warn people about hell, because that's what our Lord, he talked more about hell than he did heaven.
Yeah.
Look it up and compare it to the Bible. He spoke more about hell than he did heaven. And you're not showing people true love when you're trying to spare their feelings.
Man.
You're showing people love when you tell them the truth. And that's the best way I know that I can put that.
Yeah. Because there may be a day that they'll be pointing their finger at you saying, why didn't you tell me the truth?
Right. Do you guys ever watch any of Jensen Franklin's stuff, any of his videos and stuff he makes?
Yeah.
Who was that?
Jensen Franklin out of Georgia.
No, I don't believe I have.
Okay. Well, he did. He preached about hell on a service, and it's on YouTube. And he had actors, and I've wanted to do this here, something similar to it. But he had actors on stage as he was preaching about it, were demonstrating it. He actually had a whole hell scene behind him. And there was a scene, and it was powerful because it was a father and a son there in hell together. And the son was chasing the father with a rock, hitting him with it, and screaming, I hate you. Why did you let me come here? Why didn't you take me to church? Why didn't you warn me that something like this existed? I hate you. And the point was, even if you were to see someone there's no comfort in hell, because that person's going to hate you and you're going to hate them. So this whole ideal that the world proclaims, I'd rather reign in hell than serve in heaven, or we'll just all party in hell with the rest of my friends. That's not what's going to be going on. There's a hatred even between the inhabitants, hate one another there. So Anyway.
Yep.
But a minute ago, I said, where's the time gone? I still feel like I was just 16 the other day sometimes. You know.
I feel like I still got the energy I had when I was 16.
You do. You do. He's like the Energizer Bunny.
We're going to have to get a blood transplant from him.
His body makes too much adrenaline or something, I think he said.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I've never seen anyone that can just go all the time, nonstop.
Hey, it's a blessing most times. Other times I'm wondering why.
Well, look, let's see here. I work today. It's 10:30. I'll bet you within 20 minutes of this going off the air, I will be in my bed, well on my way to being asleep.
That'll be me too. Billy, do you have
I
trouble
appreciate you coming
any?
on, man.
Huh?
Do you have
I was
trouble
telling Jeff,
sleeping any?
Huh?
Billy, do
Yes.
you have trouble sleeping?
Who, me?
Yeah,
I don't sleep.
you don't sleep.
Not much. Usually I'll be up still at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
Unless I'm sick, and then I may pass out. But yeah, usually I'm on call all the time.
Man.
I may sleep 2-3 hours and get back up if I can go to sleep. I've went 3-4 days without sleep and just keep going.
No,
I got a monkey on my back.
There's some kind of weirdo hanging out over the screen there.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what was going on here.
Oh, yeah. I know. That's Colton there. Colton's got a crush on my wife. And, I like to tell him, hey, guess what, Colton? She's at my house right now.
Jason says Vicky's at his house right now.
Oh.
That you got a crush on.
No.
No.
He's waiting on me to die is what it is. He knows he can play it out.
You going to whip him?
No.
No? Okay.
You guys remember that old Bill Murray movie where he had that elephant and he
Yeah.
put it across the country, and Matthew McConaughey's in the movie, and he plays this old crazy truck driver, and he convinces him into giving him a ride, and they're going down the road, and they've been going and going, and he looks at me and says, "Hey Earl, why don't you ever think about pulling over and getting some sleep?" And he looks at him all crazy. He says, "Sleep? I slept some last week."
Yeah.
That's Billy in a nutshell.
Oh, good golly.
Yeah.
I try. I'll get in bed, but I'll just lay there bug-eyed and listen at the clock go tick, tick, tick. That's an awful sound when you're laying there and that's all you hear.
Well, since this show hasn't really taken a direction, we might as well go on that. Experts, and this actually works because I've had insomnia at different times, but they say if you go to bed, if you're not asleep within 15 minutes, you should get back up.
Yeah.
And not lay there and toss and turn.
Yeah.
That is true.
I'll tell you what you're supposed to get up and do, but I get up and then lay back down, but
I've seen Jason walk and sleep. Not kidding.
One time when I was in boot camp in the Army, I fell asleep standing up. That's the only time
Okay,
I
go on.
But I don't know. I could be asleep right now.
You could be.
Would that be something to wake up in your chair and realize, I've still got that show to do?
Yeah, you just dreamed it.
Well, brothers, I love y'all. I think it's about time to cut out tonight. And speaking of sleep, y'all made me tired.
What do we do?
I don't know. I'm just tired. Sitting in this chair.
I make everybody tired. I wear everybody out, I guess.
I think, as a matter of fact, I think next week I am going to try to do a show covering the Epic of Gilgamesh. See, I always get these good ideas, but man, that's going to take a little putting together. But within the next few weeks, we'll do it. And then you guys help me out, spread the word on this Bible college. I know that a lot of people out there, it's always wanted to attend one. You won't regret it if you come. Won't regret it, I promise. And it's not much money. And if I could make it free, I would. But, you know, the books and everything, they've got to have their fees. And I understand it because, you know, without money coming in, there's no way they can keep their doors open. So, but do that. And Jeff, man, keep the beard growing. You got you some good beard balm? I hear that's important. Huh?
I've got a little.
All right. Well, that's what I know what to get you to. I know what to get you for Christmas now.
That's scary, brother. I'd be careful when you open it.
Can you imagine if you snuck around and gave somebody some beard balm or something made out of that real soft honey, and then sat back and see the bees chasing him?
Golly.
Oh. Well, I guess Brother Jamie didn't come on. We all keep him in prayer. He's going through some tough stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll make you a deal. I'll make you guys a deal, and I'll make everybody a deal watching, and everybody that watches later. You all pray for me, and I'll pray for you.
Amen.
And I love you.
We love you too, brother.
Love you, Jay.
And with that, it's about time to close. But I want to close with a scripture. Psalms 24. And this is a psalm that a good friend of mine, of course, I had read it before, but a friend of mine, the Reverend Bill Bean, put me on to this. And at any time that I'm asked to go pray over a home, or for whatever reason, people like to, you know, they buy a house and they may want to dedicate it to the Lord or whatever, for whatever reason, I like to read this psalm on the property. And the psalm says this, Psalm 24, the first verse says, "The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein." And I'd just like to tell everyone watching me tonight, God owns everything. And if there's one thing that we can know that is the ultimate truth, the truth that is the capital of all truths, is this one fact, that God, the owner of everything, will always do the right thing. And we live in some scary times right now. And they may get scarier before they get better. But let me tell everyone out there this. God's still in control. And we may not understand why right now. But he's allowing these things to happen because it's the right thing to do for this time. And we may not understand it. And we may have to get to heaven before we ever figure out why. But we can rest in the fact that even though the storm's raging, our God's still taking a nap in the boat, which means he's not concerned about it. And if you belong to him, you shouldn't be concerned about it either. I love each and every one of you. Have a good night. God bless, and I'll talk to you soon.